alchemy, the transmutation of one substance into another. Though its origins vary, people have practiced alchemy for centuries. In fact, alchemy still exists today, hidden in plain sight. Two operations of alchemy are fermentation and distillation. Both are chemical processes used to make alcohol, such as bourbon. Bourbon is a unique barrel-aged whiskey that comes from corn and any combination of malted barley, wheat, or rye. These grains are composed of fibers and complex sugars. Mashing and cooking these grains break down the complex sugars into simple sugars, primarily glucose. At this stage, the fibers and particles of grain cloud the brew. But the fibers filter out as the brew pumps over to the fermentation tank. The glucose in the brew provides food for yeast, which perform the first alchemical operation in bourbon production, fermentation. The yeast feeds on glucose in a dark environment, turning the simple sugar into carbon dioxide and ethanol, the primary alcohol in alcoholic drinks. After 3 days of fermentation, the brew is now a mixture of yeast, water, ethanol, and flavor compounds. This liquid is often called distiller's beer, which is low in alcohol content. In order to raise the alcohol content and produce whiskey, distiller's beer is concentrated through a chemical separation process called distillation. Distillation is the second alchemical operation in bourbon production. To understand distillation, it is important to note that different liquids boil at different temperatures. Therefore, as ethanol heats up and boils, it changes from a liquid to a gas and separates from the other liquids in distiller's beer. The ethanol gas travels through a column consisting of two tubes. The outer tube is filled with cold water. The inner tube is filled with ethanol gas. When the ethanol gas reaches this chilled environment, it cools and condenses back into a liquid. But there is one more step before this clear liquid ethanol is considered bourbon. In order to complete the transmutation from grains to bourbon, the whiskey ages in wooden barrels to hone the flavor. The bigger the barrel, the longer the bourbon needs to age. During this time, the clear whiskey that went into the barrels transforms into a rich bronze bourbon. What was once kernels of grain is now a flavorful, alcoholic beverage. This transformation involved in making bourbon is a modern, everyday version of alchemy.